Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order. It is Wednesday, April 15th at 5:00 something PM, 5:04 maybe. And
Joyce is joining us now.
okay, we'll wait for Joyce to get on so they will do their thing on their meeting.
Hi, Joyce.
Sorry, I got somehow I got on the wrong Zoom link.
Okay.
But I called the select board meeting to order.
The first thing on the agenda is to review the minutes from our previous meeting. Has everyone had the opportunity to look those over?
Yes. I make a motion, we approve the minutes from April 1st, 2026, the Finance Committee Select Board meeting. Second.
And there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? We're all set.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, I move to approve the select board minutes from the meeting of April 1st.
Second.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was coughing. So I muted. Okay. All right. So just roll call vote. Julie,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes,
Joyce, yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 2, which is public comment. I don't see anyone on our Zoom, and there is no one in our audience. So we will move on. We'll review a couple of budgets here that we have. The first is community development under tab 6, and it's GG9.
So this was just a request to make an adjustment, and then it's related to the community development administrator's hours. Currently she works 28 hours and she'll be able to go full-time as of January 1st. So I've updated the number of hours where she would essentially would be working at that should not say 40 to 32, but where she would be working 28 hours for the first 6 months and then 40 hours for the last 6 months of the fiscal year. So an average of 32 hours.
that's an average 32. 20, 40 doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No.
6, no. 34 hours. Thank you.
Okay.
So hence the drop. Hence the increase.
Well, it's an increase over the previous sheet, but it's a drop from the previous fiscal year.
That's
Because the previous fiscal year, it was appropriated for full-time. 40 hours
58 was the full time and
Correct.
50, whatever it
is a partial. So yes, it still results in a drop, but not as much as you saw previously.
Question, is there a list of the grants that this person is chasing?
Oh, yeah,
She's doing a
we have a
fantastic
whole,
job.
we have a whole
Yeah.
tracking sheet.
She probably brings way more than what she costs us.
I'm sure she
That,
does.
that position in the past has always brought in more than our cost.
I wonder if, right, at our last meeting, Wayne was talking about the $1.5 million funding fee to do the water
The Egypt Road.
improvement project. Is that on her list?
Yes,
She's working on exit 35 too.
Say it again?
She's working on the exit 35. She met with me to talk about that committee about.
Yep.
The whole thing.
Yes, that's pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with her. She's.
Great. Community development.
Yeah, she's great.
Speaking of Caroline, I was looking through the special revenue accounts, and there's a lot of negatives under the grant funding, so I'm just wanting to make sure that those kind of are getting cleaned up as we,
they are,
okay.
just so that everybody's aware, any grant has a separate reserve fund or not revolving, but a separate fund account. And they're all reimbursable, so it's all, we're generally always in the negative until we complete the project. So, and it is article like 3 or something in a town meeting where we always ask town meeting to allow us to do this. But the methodology is we pay our invoices and then we submit those payments, because we have to make a payment in order to get the reimbursement back, and then that reimbursement goes right back into that account line item to then shore it back up.
Just want to make sure at the end of the fiscal year, we're kind of.
The
keep on
issue is
top
for,
of it.
the issue comes in for large projects like our solar project. The reimbursement is task-based, and you can only be reimbursed on the if the task is 100% completed. So let's say it was the electrical installation, and although we may pay the electrician 3 invoices, we can't be reimbursed from the state until the entire portion of that job is completely done. So we'll continue to go in the red until we finish that task, and then we can say to the state, okay, here are the 3 invoices that we paid. That step is now completed at 100%, and then they go and submit the payment.
So when it hits the wall of the fiscal year, and those projects are still partially outstanding, how does that get reported? Is it just
It still shows as a negative.
as a negative, but with a asterisk next to it saying it's gonna get paid?
No, there's no asterisk next to it. It's just a negative.
Yeah.
That then it all evens out. But when we do figure out our free cash, that's how it's figured out, is based on those negatives versus the supplemental or the positives in the other accounts.
So if a project isn't completed by the time you count free cash, then you have less free cash.
That's why you want to kind of keep.
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's impossible, on
Right.
reimbursement grants, it's impossible to be at 100%.
Sure.
There are some where, like the center school projects, that grant was a paid in front. We didn't have to verify that we made any invoices, but it was because it was $14,000 grant, so they gave us the money right away.
Yep.
And so we had the money, we didn't have to go into the negative.
Any other questions on the community development budget? Insurance group health. Tab 11.
So minor update. I just want to show, so with the updates of the group insurance alley, there's a sheet here that shows you where we came up with that total. There's a line item added onto this total, which is negotiation amount. Because we're doing a plan change under mass law, we have to negotiate and share the savings back to the employees, 25%. So thankfully, it's a very small amount, but we do have to accommodate for that. So we've accommodated for $8,000. At present, it's estimated at just over 7,200, but that's based on the subscriptions or the health insurance subscriptions currently. The law says you pay out based on what your employees are subscribed as of July 1st. So if anybody changes their plan during open enrollment or gets hired prior to July 1st, we have to give them the savings benefit based on their plan as of FY27, which will be July 1st. They're all less than 1 pay deduction. It's about 0.6 or 69% of a deduction of their normal health deduction that happens in one patient. But so essentially, I just wanted to show you that's why that number increased. It's not because the GIT came back and increased the rates. It's simply because we needed to accommodate for the negotiations. We've closed negotiations. We've come to a memorandum of understanding or agreement with the unions. We're just finalizing that document now, but our town council is doing a final review.
Does everybody get the same feedback?
No, it's dependent on the plan that you have.
Yeah.
So that those who have a less expensive plan and therefore have a reduced or a lower deduction, they'll get a lower savings.
I get that, but if somebody, you have to, is it a 12-month look back?
It's based on what your cost is gonna be for FY27.
Moving forward.
Correct, for that year. It's not before, because the change is happening in FY27.
Hopefully.
It's a one-time. It's we don't have to do it every fiscal year. It's a one-time payment. It's only for this FY 27 unless we have to change our health plans again sometime down in the future. So that's the change on that sheet.
Do we have any more information on how likely a change is in the next fiscal year? Just zero.
There's no way to know that. We
And
can't.
I
Yeah,
just wondered if there's,
no,
Open enrollment will close
early May, no.
no, it's usually mid-May.
Yeah, it's May 1st to May 22nd
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
So, and then we also don't know, there's a few other unknowns with the retirees, so,
yes.
on whether they'll be getting, well, not the retirees, but the replacements will be getting insurance. So those may not, we may not know until August.
Thankfully, the only people that get the one-time payment are those that are employed as of July 1st. So if they get hired after, they don't get a savings benefit because they were hired after the plan change went into effect.
And it only affects active employees, not
So the add-ons won't.
well, not the retirees.
There's a lot, sorry.
Yes, it was, it was a lot the last time we did it. Okay, so was that it for insurance?
I've just got a question. I'm looking at the line items here. And just seeing the breakdown, the town portion, like for instance, HMO employee plus one, town portion $1,977, one subscriber, town cost $23,728.
Hold
what page are you looking?
I'm
on.
looking
He's on that insurance
That
spreadsheet.
table,
Let's see,
That's the one.
and the same for the PPO family, town portion.
that's the yearly, the 23,000 is the year amount for that one employee that's on the employee plus one. So it's a monthly rate, the first two columns.
Okay,
are
yeah,
monthly.
you should-
Okay,
The title that's.
And then the
monthly.
town-
okay, that.
Yeah.
Those are monthlies, okay. Okay,
I'm not sure why this says town portion, that should actually say employee portion, I think. Oh, no, she's doing it off, that's the town portion of. the-
Town subsidy.
Yeah,
Because it's our cost, yeah.
That's the annualized to for this point.
right,
The other ones are monthly.
right. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the capital improvement plan.
The others, by the way, sorry, the other sheets that were reprinted for you were simply because during the previous meeting with like fire and there was fire, water, where we had moved like the fiscals from the fire department budget into our fiscals and tests budget. That's why those two sheets were revised. And then there was one update to the select board budget. That's because I forgot to include the bucket of hours that are given to the admin assistant for evening meetings outside of the normal office hours. So I had to add in a bucket of hours for that, but that's why there was adjustment on that.
It's monthly.
Right.
That's in the annual.
Okay, for the capital plan, I was trying to figure out the best way to start, so I did a draft version. And we can go from there, nothing's set in stone, it's just a starting point, so if you wanted to. It's not pretty at all. We could this funds all the capital items that were requested except for the loan. Oh, we might have an extra one on the side.
So sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, thank you.
So I enlarged this this is on this other sheet that you got too, but I enlarged it so we could actually see it. These old guys don't do so well. Okay, so what I did, is I tried to figure a way to kind of balance things. Oh, Joyce does not have a copy of this.
Do you have an electronic version that we can?
I do. I can email that to Joyce.
Okay, that's not the thing that's called item 3A budget overview review tool. That's,
It
It
is, but it's a different version.
Yeah.
that
oh,
Lynn-
okay. Cause I can make it as big as I want on my big screen. So,
It's an exciting bunch of numbers.
Yeah, it's a scary bunch of numbers. Let's see, the email. Which email do you want, Joyce?
either one's fine. JP, well, yeah, I've got 3 emails. They all dump in the same in basket.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm not coming up. Let's see. Why aren't you coming up? Huh.
Yeah. Probably Pete would like you to use Jade, sorry, j.palmerfortune@whately.org.
Jade,
Thanks, Joyce. I wasn't gonna say anything.
or, is there a hyphen in Fortune, Palmer Fortune?
No.
No, not in the Windows doesn't like hyphens.
Windows doesn't like a lot of things.
Not used to this version of. Oh. Okay, it should be headed your way, Joyce.
Okay.
Okay, so what I did is, like I said, everything but the loader. I found a place for in the plan. The bottom part, the lower part here is the amount of money we have in each account. I think I did adjust those to the new special revenue sheets just to up the rest amount a little bit. So I guess we could start off with, is anyone have issues with funding the entire capital plan?
Yes, are there any items that you feel shouldn't be funded
Why are we holding off on the voter?
at the
That is it.
request of the highway department?
There's a grant, she's.
That's not included, that's not in, oh, the new wheel, oh, no,
Correct.
Yes, but I'm not funding it.
we're taking that out.
Yeah.
Yep, you'll see there's no funding allocated to it.
I know Jim really
Did you get
wants.
it yet, Joyce?
I know Jim-
No, not yet. I'm on Outlook and it's not showing up yet.
I know Jim really wants to get.
It was j.palmerfortune@whately.org.
Have it or you want to have. it.
Right.
I believe so.
Yeah.
j.palmerfortune@whately.org.
New cruiser in here.
I didn't know, but does anyone know how many miles there are of this cruise that they want to
I think it seems
replace?
like 70,000. It's
How many?
it's like, I thought it said sort of 70. It's
I think
personal.
that's what he said, yeah.
7,
Personal,
It
personal.
I put wait.com, that's why you didn't.
the one that he's trying to right?
You should know better than that.
One that's rusting out.
It's,
7, what kind of car is it that's rusting out after 70,000
I
miles?
think it's, what did he say, it was 2017 or something?
I think it was 2017, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it parked outside?
he drives it back and forth every day home.
Yeah, those vehicles are,
Why are the police driving their vehicles home? Why don't they drive their own car to?
because they're permitted to do that in case there's a call that they don't have to respond to.
Do all the police do that or
Yeah.
just?
Yeah.
Fire
it's
too,
a week.
fire chief brings his truck home and the highway department brings their truck home too
Yeah.
for emergencies.
Can't get over the only 70,000 lives.
I'm double checking that.
Thought that's what he said.
I think that's what he
I
said.
believe he
But-
said it was also idling all the time and.
It is.
miles
Hours.
Exactly with what the
Yeah.
engine has gone through or.
The cars have to be kept running, so the engine will run even though it's not gaining mileage, so it still is a wear and tear on
Yes.
the vehicle without it actually.
But he wants to keep the car and make it a
It'll be
traffic
the
detail.
detail car,
Right.
so it's not going out of commission, it's just being.
So that means that they'll have 4 cars instead of the 3.
They're always gonna have 4 cars. They're gonna trade the oldest one.
The oldest one gets traded in, so the current detail car will get traded in for
Oh, I see.
minimal money, but yeah.
So we have two,
Two frontline cars.
The chief's car and then the detail.
Right.
Conway is similar population, what's their fleet, do they have the same?
I don't know what their fleet is.
We'll see if you get it this time.
Could I ask you a question about the spreadsheet here? So at the bottom, you have apparently these accounts which are money that's available.
Right.
And at the top is the money we want to spend. Is any of these 4 or 5 categories? Can any of those be used for any vehicle? In other words, could you take the capital stabilization fund and buy yourself whatever you want?
You can take the general stabilization fund and buy anything, but the capital is, well, capital you could.
You
Capital,
could,
yeah.
it's a capital investment, yeah. But you couldn't use building stabilization fund for vehicle,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's strictly for buildings.
But that other remaining balance of 630,000 you could use, not including the bids, 660,000.
Where do you get?
Where do you get the 660?
Looking at the remaining balances for the general stabilization fund, 411 plus the 217 plus the 28.
I see 411, 648.
Right, but this scenario says we're depleting free cash.
Well, we have $162,000 remaining in free cash.
Is that if we take 200,000 and reduce the
Yes,
tax rate?
Correct.
that's included in it.
Is this similar to what we typically have at the end of a
Usually
budget
it's
season?
more than that.
That's what I
free
thought.
cash.
How much?
No, the free cash in the past 5 or so years has been between 150 and 175
Has it?
at the end of the budget.
Okay,
process.
so we used to
The
be
last
around
couple of years have
200.
been different, but yeah.
Okay,
But in general, tried to
Yeah.
bring it down to about that level.
and the fact that there's 162,000 is just basically in case something happens where you wanna go to a special town meeting or something. You've got money there. You could also go to a special town meeting and transfer that if you never use it into one of your stabilization accounts.
Yeah.
But
But you just don't wanna commit it all
So
to spending. it
you're
for
saying you
another-
don't want to use that money to buy one of these vehicles?
We are.
We are,
If you look under the column free cash,
Yeah,
these are the
this is your
vehicle,
distribution.
the project request and
Gotcha.
then the distributions are all off to the right, which
Oh, good.
category it's coming. I mean, there's different ways of doing it. I took the whole thing out.
I
And did, down at the bottom, a $20,000 addition, and you could.
that's what I was
subtract that.
curious about, like, do we want to remove money only to add money back in?
Well, that's why, you don't have to do it that
Okay.
way, it's just, I thought it might be a little clearer. When we were looking at it here, we could decide that we're gonna take it all from free cash instead.
Yeah.
if I can, I think the important thing to look at here is that we haven't done in the last few years is use money from capital stabilization. We've been putting money in,
Right.
we have not used capital stabilization. So that essentially is keeping the free cash number up in this scenario.
Right, right, I mean, if we could deplete,
Said another way, if you didn't use capital stabilization, you'd have no free cash.
You would have,
According to this
you
time.
would have, no, you would have
well, you'd have,
80,000 free cash.
Yeah.
No, you wind up 162.
You'd have
Using
60,
100.
That's less 100 plus 20.
right, less than 100 plus 12.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
So,
But you're depleting your capital stabilization, which is
Right.
your rainy day fund, or one of your two rainy day funds.
Right.
that's why on here, I kind of, I didn't use, I left a little bit in the vehicle stabilization, I didn't go all the way, just 50,000 and then 20,000 of free cash. And none of this was just a starting point, I want to make that clear, this is just a,
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that the use of capital stabilization is not within what we've done in the last few
Right.
years.
Right.
But we also have much larger requests from the highway department this year than we normally have.
right,
Can I ask a question about this? What's the police service?
It's the property survey of the police and highway property. We're doing it, surveying that property in order to develop the plans for the new highway garage on that property. Because that property includes the highway garage, the transfer station, the police department, and the
That's it.
salt shed.
Yeah.
So what happens to the house, the building that the police use there? Is that?
Oh, that is going to stay.
Yeah.
It's going to get a new roof. And presumably if all the plans get realized, will be the office space for the highway department. So that we can build a garage that does not have office space in it.
It's only for storage.
Right.
Keeps the building costs down.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
trying to build a
Reduces the
building
cost
that
for the
just,
building.
it's just a garage, there's no office and bathrooms.
But
They'll probably.
in order to do the planning for it, we need a property survey to know the exact amount.
So we have to do that.
Yes,
Yeah, we've got to figure out what the exact building envelope is and where we can put the highway
This is an
garage.
expense we incur no matter what. if it
Yeah,
has to
right.
happen.
Yeah.
And this includes the idea of the police. So,
No, all this does is tell us what we have in the map.
Right.
but he's
Oh, it doesn't
meaning that this
go,
plan
All-
includes
yeah,
that.
the big
The
plan.
bigger picture is the police.
The big picture includes moving the police station here, moving the transfer station across the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's another.
There's a bunch of puzzle pieces, but regardless, we do need that property surveyed regardless of.
No,
how
I
the other
totally
bits and
agree
pieces
with
move.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a little bit complicated because there's an easement that runs through the middle of that parking lot to the cell tower.
I wish they're there today.
Right, so finding exactly where the building footprint can be
Right.
is not, it can go anywhere. It can't.
So on a scale of or something. In terms of the expenditures, I mean, are some of these like? Gotta happen, the place is gonna fall down if we don't get this thing, and
Well, that's
others
what
are like,
the-
wouldn't it be really nice to have?
that's what the report that the CIPC put together outlines.
Or are-
I
They
didn't,
gave it to us.
It was a previous,
I printed it every meeting, so I just thought maybe.
Yeah.
You can print it this meeting.
No, you're okay. but all,
personnel. Personnel was today,
Yeah, we're ranked A, B, and C.
yeah,
so of the projects, the least prioritized was the hallway carpet replacement at the elementary school. That was a priority.
So that's the lowest one,
Yep,
so on a scale of 1 to 10, that's like a 2.
well, we only do an A, B, and C,
Oh,
so
okay, A is,
A is the
A-
priorities.
A would be priority, top priority.
okay, A, B, and C is lowest,
B, C is the lowest, yep,
okay, so that's a C.
yep.
Okay, so look at the new furniture and security system for the senior center. Can't they raise money for that?
They're planning on doing some funding, fundraising for that, right, Joyce?
Yeah,
Okay, the new cruiser,
The new cruiser is also priority B. The furniture was a priority B, by the way.
Everything else is.
Everything else is an A.
so roof replacement, new highway truck, et cetera, all A's.
Yeah,
Right.
I've spent some time with Bill Hildreth at the elementary school, going over and using that building. And I encourage him to try to do little things, at least every year, to try to stay on top of it, because there are snowballs over there, these carpets are like practically original to the school. And they're absolutely disgusting.
Oh,
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I said the carpets are like original to the school. These are the carpets that kids come to the playground on. They're absolutely filthy. He's trying to go to carpet squares. So if a kid gets sick on one, you can probably square up and glue a new one down. Versus right now, they're like original. They're absolutely disgusting. Harboring all sorts of stuff.
I was gonna say,
Pretty
are they a
ratty.
health hazard in terms of mold and bacteria?
It's a petri dish, just like the kids.
But he needs to do the carpets there for the sound.
Say that again?
They need to put carpet there for the sound because it muffles everyone coming in. If they had
I know.
solid surface flooring, it's too noisy for other
Yeah.
classrooms. I'm still.
Yeah.
watching.
that's the elementary school I went to.
So who decided that that's,
Yeah, why shouldn't that be a B or an A?
yeah, what?
It was the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. The CIPC reviews all capital requests.
Right.
And then they prioritize them based on urgency, need, and you, the finance committee, determine if there's funding.
Julia, I'm on that committee, so when Garrett comes to us and says, I don't have a truck to plow roads, that is a higher priority than carpets in elementary school. So we ranked it that way.
Good.
A police cruiser is more important.
Police cruiser was B.
Was a big.
Was it B? Yeah.
That's more important than the carpet.
We've historically always done the MSB, the police cars.
Darius also noted that it didn't have to be
Yeah.
a priority. He said it could have been a B or a C priority, so.
So it was a very informed discussion that's been put into here, brought forth to us. Say, do we have money or not?
Yeah.
Refresh my memory about how the free cash gets replenished throughout the year so that it's at another 6,000.
It's based on when we go through what we raise in our taxes or what we write in our bills, but also in growth dollars and money from the state. Minus what we actually expend, the remainings, essentially like what you're left with after the close of your books. You then, the town accountant submits that to the state and it gets certified as free cash, so it's the cash that was removed.
Right, it comes from the underestimation of revenue.
Yes.
The
Or
concern,
an overestimation of costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that if we budgeted 50,000 for a project and it comes in at 5,000, that goes to free cash. But, or as we talked before the meeting, we underestimate certain revenues mostly because it's fiscally prudent to do so. So that things like excise tax receipts are always gonna be underestimated. When they come in over our budgeted numbers, that goes into free cash. Did I get that right?
Yes,
This is
there's a few other quirks to it.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
but
basically,
it's
yes.
broad strokes.
Yeah.
I'll ask you again next year. This is kind of out of left field, but I've been reading things about just general hard financial times coming. And is any thought being given to the ways in which we as a town can prepare for that? With the war in the Middle East and oil prices going up and.
I think as we review the departmental budgets.
Yes.
That may be
I
where
have no
we kind
idea,
of,
I'm just asking.
yeah, kind of where we have to think about those things.
Yeah,
And like even we talked about last time as far as the levy limit
yeah,
and where we are at this point, and I kind of did a quick figuring of where the levy limit would be for this year.
mhm,
And it's like 6,761,000 or somewhere in that vicinity. And what we would actually be funding is 6,073,000. So we do have 700,000 of levy limit wiggle room.
yeah, okay.
But It doesn't take too long for
Yeah.
that to go away.
That was a couple of million a few years ago.
Yeah.
So it keeps whittling down.
Yeah, so, my guess is we're gonna be in the same boat as Sunderland in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Looking for an override.
I'm thinking for the next budget process, directing all departments to provide two budget options. One where it's only a 2% growth
Right,
and one where it's level funding to this year. And find out ways for them in order to find ways to reduce their increases or do level funding. What areas can they do some cutbacks? It may mean certain things have to be, services have to be cut back as well. in order to do it.
right.
Or if they feel that there's a staffing that they could possibly cut. But we may need to, before we have to hit an override, because that's the likely other, if we continue on this growth pattern,
Yeah,
next year could be an override, so. I wanted to set them up where we try to reduce or
yeah.
limit our budget growth.
And
We
yes,
can't
yes,
control the
we
school department,
we
though.
can't, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, 2/3 of the budget is schools.
Yeah, we can only control our portion, but we should try, and the school did do.
Right.
They do.
A great job this year in looking at their reserves and their ways to do cuts. In order to have, minimize the impact on the community,
So rather than a 2% increase, perhaps you could consider going the direction that Sunderland did, saying, I need a 5% reduction.
we could,
Maybe it's three options. but
yeah.
Two is.
I think when we get close to that, I'll discuss with the finance committee what budget options you would consider, but we, in the past few years, we've just said. Try to be lenient, but we haven't been all that firm on it.
You're right,
Oh.
we didn't last year go back to any department and say,
Correct.
we just, data is moved on.
And one of the major drivers of this will be, what is our share of Frontiers?
Hmm.
But this year, we got a good report from
Got a good
Frontier.
deal, right?
Last few years, we have not. If we get hit hard again next year, that's the kind of thing that can push us over.
Right.
I mean,
We may be able to figure, we can look at our population too, because I think that's what triggered
It
our.
has, yeah.
our-
no, I think what really triggered it was the growth in the assessments. Cause that's part of the chapter 70 formula. That we got a good growth in assessments, which helped with our taxes in town, but made us appear to be a wealthier town.
Hmm.
And the chapter 70 formula will hit the wealthier towns.
So to all those points, I know we've talked about it before, the Franklin Tech exposure that we heard, that extra 200,000, now that's gonna be your tipping point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It
really
could,
good to get
if that,
to the override.
if that
If
passes.
that passes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then,
That'd be debt exclusion, right?
then, well, I would say we wanna do a debt exclusion. And would that would have to be done at the same time that the vote is for the school.
The vote of the school happens in October,
Yeah, so we might have to do,
but it wouldn't be for the current fiscal year though,
yeah,
right?
but I think you can debt exclude anything at any
At any
time.
time.
And not necessarily take out that debt,
Oh, okay,
but it's excluded, and it doesn't make a difference when you go to say tax rate, because you haven't used it, it's just
Right.
out there as possible debt, so.
and the reason why she's referencing a debt exclusion means because we'd be taking on the debt, but we're not increasing our budget. Permanently, whereas an override permanently increases it.
But she had
Not
a
the budget,
30,
but the-
she had a 30-year amortization schedule,
Yes,
so you're increasing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And we are looking to have debt for highway garage, police department. On top of that as well.
And that's another reason why I think this budget will need to make sure is under control, because those things are gonna,
They're coming at us.
yeah, they're gonna increase taxes a lot, so.
So with that in mind, so, I mean, so there's we should be adopting a strategy of trying to limit movement towards 2.5. I mean, that should be in the back of our mind,
yes.
at least. So to take the extreme version of that is, what if we did none of these this year?
This doesn't affect.
This
Does
is
it
happening,
come out of
this
cash?
doesn't affect
So
the
this
operating
doesn't
budget.
affect
So
tax rate at
so
all.
what effect does this have on potential 2.5? And
Our operating budget is what has
This-
the,
this- no.
it's all coming out of the same bowl after a
No,
while.
No.
no,
No.
they're actually two different roles.
So why
yeah,
don't we fund the schools out of this? I mean.
because
Because
these are capital funds, not operating
They can't
funds.
be operating budget. They can be,
Missing something.
They're very different things.
I'm missing something. Why is capital budget not affecting 2.5?
because we
Why?
have the money. We have the money.
So
to
you're
fund
saying the
those.
money we have in the bucket right now covers all these
Right.
expenses?
Correct.
The operating budget is
We don't
gonna
have to
be
use tax
by
money.
tax money,
Okay, you just, that's fine.
Doesn't leave you with much of a balance.
but you don't wanna eliminate all your savings.
So what happens
Like at
when the
home.
money that's available goes to zero? And now you need a new police car, what happens
Then
then?
you have to go
raise taxes.
through taxes, yes.
That's what I'm saying, I mean, sooner or later, you gotta go to the pocket.
Eventually, yeah, or if the project like the highway garage building, for instance.
Okay, yeah.
That's much larger cost than the 100,000 that we have in our building stabilization fund.
Okay.
So the remaining, we would have to raise through taxes or debt exclusion.
So is it fair, is
Or
it fair to say that we have the money this year to cover this? But we could end up next year with a very small free cash.
Mm,
This,
Or it's gonna basically stay the same.
this shouldn't have anything to do with
This,
free cash.
yeah, these capital projects
It's all new to me.
has nothing to do with the override.
What happens,
No, I get that now.
Oh,
what
okay.
happens with free cash is at June 30th, it disappears. So you either use it.
Well,
Well,
We're describing it, I'm like,
No,
no, wait, where's the cow?
it is no longer on your books.
yes,
How's that? So you either use what you have. And you can divvy it up and put it into your savings, which are your capital stabilization, stuff like that.
Okay.
Or if there is a balance in it, it does help to roll over to the next year, but. Free cash, once June 30th comes along, you can't touch it anymore until it's recertified
Yeah.
by the state. So it gets
Yeah.
recertified maybe in September.
Yep.
Somewhere in there, so it really does disappear, yeah, I mean.
which is why we tend to do special town meetings like in October, November, because we had to wait until the free cash got certified.
So you either have to do your special town meetings before July 1st,
Yeah,
or you gotta wait
Great.
till October. So if you got a problem, somebody between July 1st and,
hopefully you've got an account.
Well, you could take money from one of the stabilization accounts,
You
you just
could,
can't
yeah.
use free cash.
Yes,
So let me ask the question the other way then. Why don't we just do this? I mean, it looks like it's fine.
yeah,
that's,
We, why don't we just?
Again, no,
we
you-
have
you-
the
you-
fund,
we have the funds.
you just have to determine, do you want to use the funds?
Right, the issue that I raised was using capital stabilization. It's our piggy bank. And do we want to go into it? I'm not saying no, I'm just
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Do you wanna take it all from free cash at this point in time?
And what level do you want free cash to be at that you will now roll
Well,
over?
that's kind of what I was trying to
Into next
do.
year's free
Probably
cash.
not very well.
Because our town meeting is so much later than it used to be, we only are worried about a month's worth of time. For something to go wrong where you may need to dig into free cash,
Oh,
but, when town meeting was in April. You had a few months that you might come into a problem, and that's another reason why I think we kept the, larger amount in free cash, just in case something came down the pike. But we could, and that's why this is here, so we
Right.
can
So-
move all these things around.
It gives us more flexibility if we keep more money in free cash, because we can use it for different things versus if we. Capital can only use for capital, vehicle can only be used for vehicle,
Right,
so. I kind of in mind of like what you've suggested here, I like it, it's my 2 cents.
I have a question about capital stabilization. Having just gotten a refresher on how free cash becomes refreshed. How does money come into capital stabilization?
Any
This committee puts
stabilization,
it
has-
there.
yeah, town meeting has to
Where?
appropriate from
From
free cash.
Oh,
That's,
it's not like there's a,
No,
We have another kind.
Right down here, we
it's
do,
not like there's another.
That doesn't.
down here, I'm putting 20,000 into,
right here, we're transferring. to that fund.
No, I see that, it's just, how does it get replenished?
it's
Yeah.
always town meeting. Town meeting is the only authority that
It's not
can
like.
create
it's not something
stabilization,
goes
add to the
into-
fund and.
No, no.
So there's nothing that replenishes that.
And Jay, you're right about the flexibility in putting in free cash. On the other hand, the reason vehicle stabilization was set up was to make sure that when the police needed a vehicle, there was
Yeah.
money set aside, so we don't have the ups and downs in the operating budget to when every 3 years, the police department needs a new vehicle. We know they're gonna need one every 3 years.
Yeah.
That's why that was set up, to avoid those fluctuations in operating,
I agree.
in the taxation every 3 years.
So the one part we haven't addressed is the concept that Garrett had of financing. Which would mean you don't need to deplete your free cash. And you don't need as much. And you don't need to deplete your funds for vehicle stabilization. Do that for your police car and any of the highway.
But we then have to bake it into the operating.
Then the
expense.
operating and then onto the
Which
tax.
now is-
Then that does,
and
yeah,
you're also paying the interest.
interest.
Yeah.
Which is.
I think that's a bigger discussion next year if this grant doesn't go through for the bucket, we're gonna have to get out that path. And he's gonna be looking for a dump truck again in another year or two.
Yeah, but I think
I'll pick it up.
the discussion we had before, looking for ways to reduce the operating budget,
Right.
that is not
That's
a way to
not the
reduce
way
the
to
operating
do it.
budget.
Well, you could theoretically use more free cash. And it would wash out inside the operating budget. If you're,
Offset.
Except that the operating budget gets into levy limits and the rest of the capital and these funds don't.
Right. But you are 10% below the levy limit. So there's some wiggle room. Just pointing it out as a.
Now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, we don't have to vote on this tonight,
It's-
so we
yeah, I
can
don't-
say that till the May
Discussion.
11th
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah,
So if you wanna peruse it, give it some more thought, present a different plan.
you'll be voting on capital on your May 11th meeting.
Just one other question of
Thank you for doing
the,
Yeah,
like the new cruiser, I mean, is there a benefit or whatever to putting it off for a year? In other words, could it be more expensive to put it off for a year because you get less on the trade-in? Or I don't know, I just made that up, but
No, that means the trade-in, we're not gonna get much value. What he was pointing out is if we put it off, it just means more repairs on the current vehicle. That then might not pan out to. be
so
a
the
benefit.
weight goes into doing it now. We're gonna do it at all.
That's why they're on a cycle of replacing each vehicle, I think it's every 3
Well, that
years,
sounds
right?
like a good idea.
As with any deal, though, George, it's always cheaper to do it today than tomorrow.
Well, that's,
Especially with vehicles.
I'm just saying, it's another reason, even though it's a B, it's gonna be.
You say for 2 years?
That he replaces like
That's where I.
A 6-year cycle, and he had 3 cars, and he said they were doing it.
every
over
3 years,
6
then,
years.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah, whatever the replacement.
Yeah.
Time frame.
so in terms of what comes to us in the budget, are we gonna be looking at a new cruiser? I still can't figure it out, every year?
every
Or
other year.
Every other. Year.
Yep.
Thank you. So no, next year. Very nice, okay.
If I can, simply because I won't be in the meeting when you make the
Oh.
final determination. That just to let everyone know that the discussion is really about what levels do you want capital stabilization and free cash to be at the end of the budget cycle? Where do
That
you,
remaining column,
right, how much remaining? Is 162,000 as planned here a good number for free cash? Do we need more? Do we need less? Do we want to take money from capital stabilization? Or, and I just want to lay out, these are the questions that this raises.
It's a good question. What has it been the last 4 or 5 years? Has it always been in that ballpark
For
number?
free cash has been in that ballpark.
That's very helpful to know.
150 to 175. I mean, there may have been a year where it was
High.
a little higher.
Yeah. Last year was a little lower, but still higher than it had been in the past.
Right.
Now we're getting low, so.
But so it is headed down.
Right,
See,
if the 150, 175 is where it was at the end of the budget season.
Yeah.
Not what was certified or.
Yeah, I'm talking about what was.
And last year was a little odd because it was about 200,000 of extra money that went into free cash of funds that hadn't been used or reimbursements or whatever. It went to free cash.
Yeah, last
So
year,
last year's free cash number was bigger.
we were at 250,
Oh,
Yeah.
but then when we got it certified, it was actually 750.
That's
That's where,
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
I see.
And for how many years have we been doing this replacement of the police vehicle every 2 years? How long?
6 or 7 years.
And it's been working.
Well, no, okay, I mean, that's how long we've had the vehicle stabilization fund. They've been replacing police vehicles since we've had a police department.
But I'm just saying, the
Yeah.
scheme, the scheme for doing that has been working. And free cash has been just fine at the end.
Well, when we've had the vehicle stabilization, before, the reason the vehicle stabilization was set up was to avoid the fluctuations caused by having a, you know,
One year.
20, 30, 50, whatever the cost of a police vehicle was in those over years. Having that, avoiding that hit in the operating budget.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions on that? Take that up again at our next meeting. Okay, new business. Review, discuss, and vote the recommendation for the personnel committee. That was in the packet that we got today. I think.
So in the recommendation, the main point here is the COLA that's recommended from the personnel committee. The COLA being 2.5%. That 2.5% is what you've seen applied in the budgets that have been updated for you. But it does go into detail where that 2.5 came from, using CPI, consumer price index, consumption and expenditure price index, and then also looking at what other communities have been doing this upcoming fiscal year.
So school. This,
This is only for town employees.
oh, okay.
The schools are on,
They're
are
on,
on contract.
Yeah,
yes, because they're union. Oh, so they have. This is.
but that's always baked into their budget, not our budgets.
That's included.
It's already been.
Little richer.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to vote on the recommendation for the personnel committee. Correct?
Both boards or both, yeah, entities.
So is there a motion? And we just basically have to approve the 0.5.
Correct.
Is it a motion?
Jerry, you're good with it? You're right hand on it?
Thank you. And I worked with the personnel committee to put the data points together.
Yeah.
And determining that you did the right move last year to the right size.
Yeah.
And this just builds on that.
This is the least pretentious,
Yeah.
all the thing we've ever had.
Can I ask a question about this too? Did they also get step increases on top of it?
Some people got step increases, but only based on performance. And then had to be in the position for 1 full year.
6 months.
6 months, be eligible for a step. So some people theoretically would get a 5% overall. Step increases are sort of a separate track.
Yes, yeah.
that is determined
Yes, I know that.
versus the CPI.
Yeah.
All these different data points for 3 different indices. And it's certainly in line with what other towns have done, which you see on the next page.
I'm good.
Is there a motion to approve the personnel committee recommendations of a 2.5 cost of living?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
To support.
We have a second, a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. That's unanimous for the finance committee.
Good.
I move that we approve the personnel committee's recommendation of a 2.5% cost of living adjustment.
Second.
Joyce.
Oh. Right, I didn't know we had to vote on it as well, but I'm happy that we get to vote on it.
Just seeking a vote from both, yeah.
All right, well, let's do that roll call vote. Julie,
Aye.
Fred,
Yes.
Joyce, aye.
Great, thank you.
The warrants. What's the next item on the agenda?
So this is just to review it. You're not gonna have to vote on these articles yet. Finance will vote on them on May 11th, once the warrant is more finalized, and select board when they close it on May 13th. But I can walk through all of the articles and note the ones that the finance committee will need to vote on. If you would like,
Yes.
or would you like me to just point out the finance committee ones?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Just the finance committee,
Yeah.
all right, so the first finance committee one is. Article 6. This is setting the revolving fund spending limits. We have what, 9 now, revolving funds, all of these revolving funds are accounts that. Are essentially fee collected, accounts where monies can go in based on those fee collections. However, by the town bylaw, we set a spending limit. So regardless of how much money they may have 50,000 in the account. As a means to control the spends, you always set a spending limit on those revolving funds. The numbers that you see here are the spending limits from FY25. I just repurposed those same spending limits.
You might want to put FY27 under.
Oh, you're right, it should be FY27. I mean, so these were FY26
Right,
spending limits,
but-
you're
but it
proposing it
should-
for FY27.
Is it possible to add a current balance?
They're not voting on it. This is only what you're voting on. I can certainly, the revolving funds are given to you on the bi-monthly basis from the town
Right.
accountant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we don't put that in because they're not voting on that.
Okay.
Just thinking ahead, someone's gonna ask the questions.
The next article is 7. This is where we set the salaries and compensations for elected officers. These rates are last year's rate with the 2.5% COLA applied. So most of these are stipends except for the town clerk, which is a salary, and the constable and the sexton, which are hourly rates, but all the other items are stipends.
Is the elector under the Oliver Smith will, is that an hourly rate or $13.84 for the year?
The year.
It's the year.
Just checking.
Well, it's not budgeted anywhere.
I know where it comes from.
It doesn't. I don't think it's ever been paid out.
Oh. I know, I was trying to figure out where that money comes from.
It's just there.
But yeah, it's.
It's the appointed position, or
What?
is town clerk becoming appointed or still elected?
We'll get to that.
That's in the,
As far as this is concerned, because it hasn't been changed,
Okay.
it's an elected position.
And the constable figures have been updated with their, I mean, not constable, cemetery commissioners with with the rate that.
Yes, this is the rate, yeah.
Deal was
Why,
questioning that one.
why is the town clerk an elected position?
That's the way, there are a number of positions in town, under town structure that were elected, and some communities that moved town treasurers, some of them are elected positions, but you can change it, but you have to change it. For us, we have to change it in our bylaw. In other communities, you have to change it in your charter.
We change.
We are, there,
What's that?
we're getting to that. Yeah, we're getting there. But this is, so this article is just setting those stipend salaries for the fiscal year with the 2.5. The next article is the setting the operating budget for the water department. These numbers are not updated with most recent version, but that's what that article will be. Article 9 is the vote on the operating budget. Again, these numbers are not the most recent version, but that's what Article 9's intention will be. Or
Someone stand up and say, I don't agree with, you know, one particular item that they don't
Yes.
want to support.
so when the moderator calls on the article and the finance committee moves on it, then the moderator can ask, are there questions? Or, yeah, essentially questions, and then people can raise questions. I believe he goes through by chunk, right?
That's how we used to do it, but
Yeah,
occasionally it just seems the whole budget goes. But yeah, does anybody have any questions on
general
the
government.
general government
I think you
section?
open it up to a town meeting.
And it has happened. Last year, there were people that asked.
Where it's our job to scrub.
Yeah, but can you actually, could a vote be taken on that?
Yeah, it
They
would be an
have to make a
amendment.
motion
They
to
have to
amend.
make a motion to amend
Amend
the
that
budget.
particular item.
and then that amendment gets voted on.
Yeah.
If that doesn't pass,
Then we
then
keep
it,
moving.
then we keep moving with the original.
Yeah.
If it does pass, then the whole budget will be voted as amended.
As a,
I see. Okay.
so then there's two votes essentially, or there could be multiple.
Yeah.
It could be dozens. of
Yeah.
Yeah.
people.
Other towns, town meeting, they just, they'll go through it and they'll say, someone will get up and say, I, want to hold a particular budget line. And then they vote everything that's not held. And then they go back and vote on those held items, but we've always just done it as people can get up and make the motion to amend.
We haven't had an amendment
I don't think.
in my memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless it was the finance committee that was amending it,
Oh,
or
yeah.
about something
Right.
out that
Right.
we would amend it,
No amendment from the floor.
right?
May I make a suggestion? I can remember from the prior town meetings. When this is handed out to the townspeople. And people start getting concerned and asking questions that. It might be very helpful to avoid that, to add a comment section. And then on these significant variances, it could be defined by dollar value. Or perhaps percentage, but I don't think we really want to talk about 16% increase in payroll services, it's only $1,000. But on the more significant numbers of the variances between you, have a one sentence, this is what it's for, so
That
people.
would be in your packet.
Right.
We
That's
can do a separate,
right,
a separate element than what's here.
yeah,
Part of the description of what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there being a letter that went through. The problem is, everybody now, when you get to this part of the meeting, is looking
Yeah.
at this
I
document.
can't
Yeah.
remember.
They're not looking
This,
here.
this becomes a legal document,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can't add commentary into it.
that's why
You have to
the,
make the
Can't have an
commentary,
explanation.
the comments or
not,
notes are
not in
after.
the substance of this,
Correct.
it has to be in a separate
Right.
document. Because that will not have, that commentary would not have been approved by the finance committee or the select board.
The comments are there, they're just in a different.
Yes.
They're in a package.
Supplemental.
Contains- Right, that contains comments.
Attached.
So when it comes time for that discussion, you refer people, this is your warrant, but here's your supplemental piece, go there and let's talk about it.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
If that is the desire, the finance committee will need to make those decisions
Well,
about which things
I
you
mean,
want to
there
have
are,
comments.
that I think would have to be like the scams and the.
Yeah.
And
But I just wanna make sure that if that's what's desired, I want the finance committee to delineate those so that we're under agreement of what is gonna get covered in the supplemental material. or not.
right, but this is. When the select board votes on it, it's closed.
Yeah,
Which means whatever is printed
Is
at the select board, that's it.
the
And
supplemental.
then we'll not have any commentary.
Okay, thanks for explaining that. Maybe we should definitely.
So the next article is Article 10. This is to close the ambulance stabilization fund and transfer those remaining funds into the general fund.
Can we change that a little bit and say, and return the remaining funds in any company interest? Because we did this last time. This 2150 is the interest that had accumulated between the time we had the, and the
And any, what was that?
any accumulated interest,
The accrued interest.
or accrued interest. or
Accrued interest.
whatever. Just to, so, cause I don't wanna have 87
Every
cents out
year.
there and us having to go back and vote it again. We should have done that the last.
Is that why we have this little amount in here?
2150, because we voted to close the account, but we put in a dollar figure.
Oh,
And that dollar figure, in the meantime, it had accrued interest by the time it got closed. Or
Okay.
by June 30th, it had accumulated interest, so.
That'll be easy.
So,
any questions on Article 10? Otherwise, Article 11, this is an article we tend to have to approve payment on bills from prior fiscal years, which totals $5,016.42. The
Yeah.
first bill is for the water department of $982. That's using free cash. It's an invoice from May of 24.
okay, so I didn't include any of those in my free
Yeah.
cash thing.
So the free cash will be adjusted about another $1,000. About 1,400.
Correct.
A legal,
Building stabilization fund you have to do. Because it's gonna.
that's already been noted. It's already on that sheet. that we
Yeah,
did.
it's already there.
Yeah. I just moved it out of capital projects prior
years,
fiscal year,
yes.
yeah. Then there is a legal bill of $385. And then a shredding bill of $49.42. Typically, these are always small invoices. It's just that they came in after the fiscal year were closed, and so, or they came late and we can't, town meeting has to allow us to pay those whole bills.
Like a 9/10 vote.
Yeah. Any questions on any of those? Article 12, this is to, if the finance committee wants to move free cash to reduce the tax levy, which Lynn has calculated 200,000, but I've left that blank for right now. But that's what this article is for. Article 13 is just in here if we want to move free cash to the vehicle stabilization fund. Article 14, if we want to move free cash to the capital stabilization fund. And then Article 15, this,
Hold on a sec. Lynn's schedule shows transfer to the building stabilization fund as well,
okay, I can add that.
Well, yeah,
which would have.
mark it down,
Right.
it may not.
Right, but if.
At least for
if
the
that-
draft.
If that stays, that would need a while.
Good catch.
And then there is Article 15 is transfer of free cash for the sick leave bank buyback for the school department, $40,000.
Is that
Is
gonna
that-
be an every year
Does
thing?
that cover the obligation?
Sorry, one question. Yes,
Yes, why isn't it part of their budget?
they wanted to move it out of the operating budget since it changes every
Oh, yeah.
year, and so they wanted to do it as a separate buyback where we do it as a separate.
We did that last year for talking to Keith too, we took that out of. Sick leave,
No, we added in our operating budget. Yeah,
That-
we do it on our operating budget.
Right, the highway department's the operating budget, this is for the school.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, all right,
we have a specific budget in your binder for retirement.
okay. Yeah, people are retired.
Okay, Article 16 will be the capital projects. Again, it'll be totally dependent on what the finance committee decides, what ones get funded and where we're funding them from. But so this is just placeholder.
So will the town meeting vote on each individual one or just the whole batch?
They can, they'll vote
They can
on
do
the
the
article,
strip on the,
they'll vote on the article, questions can be raised on them, or they can make an amendment to reduce or remove, yeah. But there will be one vote on the article itself.
I think you could probably remove the wheel loader line, that's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm not making any adjustments to this
Okay.
until it's finalized capital. Not 17, FinCom doesn't handle that, or 18. Actually, I don't think
26.
26 is the next one. Okay. We're bypassing it, but I will explain if we go back, because the questions have come up.
22.
It is 22 and 23. So Article 22 is asking town meeting to add to change the position of town clerk from an elected position to an appointed position. And by passage of that, it would then initiate a town vote. Where the town would be asked, there would be a simple ballot question, which would be, shall the town vote to have its elected town clerk become an appointed town clerk of the town? Yes or no?
Is there any provision as to how long when it would take effect? Her term is 3 years.
Oh, it does not, it cannot cut their term down.
Okay, so it'd
They
at the
have
end
to
of
be
the
able
term.
to see out their term unless they resign. If they resign, then you immediately shift into.
I wasn't sure about
appointed.
that.
Yeah, I did look into that.
So
And
how far is she into her term?
She's 2 years into her 3-year term.
2 years?
yes.
Yes.
So next year was.
So there's one.
Isn't she running for a representative or something?
yeah,
And then article,
Just to. So this will be on the ballot, assuming it passes this town meeting in April next year.
no, it could be on a special ballot.
Okay, because it says will be placed on the official ballot at the.
This is exactly why we used to have the town meeting more than 35 days before.
Sorry, you're right. It does say that the question would be included on the annual town election. Yes.
But the town clerk's position will also be on that ballot.
Yeah,
Yes.
If she's to, so
Yes.
the town clerk will be elected, so this would not take effect for another 3 years after.
I don't think that's the case. I think, I know of other certain circumstances where the town clerk was on the same ballot where it changed. And I don't know whether it was something within a charter or some
It's
stipulation that
something
made
For
that,
council to look into.
right,
Yeah.
so, but that is kind of why we used to have town meeting and then the election, because you had enough days to put something like this on to that election warrant.
Mm.
But now that we've moved
We
things
flipped it.
around, it's,
But could you change this to say, to have a date that this would take effect?
You don't need to. Because remember, we're saying that you can't supersede their elected
Right.
term. Yeah.
And we put wording in at the annual town meeting or a special election called for this purpose.
Well, this is only a node,
Well, no, I'm done.
There-
The
right?
year.
I mean, we
Oh,
know
we're
we're
not on
having,
that one. Yeah,
Okay,
you jumped ahead.
okay, sorry.
I mean,
We're
we know
still
we're
on
having
Article
another
22.
election, right? We know
Sorry, what?
we know we're having another election in October. I mean, can we word it as, it could be the annual town election, but it could also be any other townwide election. I mean, that,
because the tech school is funding that whole election, I'm not sure how that would fly. I mean, it would be great,
Makes
but
sense, but
you can't put them on federal elections.
Mm.
Especially primaries, because not everyone votes.
Oh, you don't think we can add, oh,
You can't put it on the primary and
no, we can't add it to the Franklin Tech.
I don't
because they're-
know, because they're paying for that
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah,
But
and same thing with the debt exclusion. I mean, are they gonna allow the debt exclusion to go on that same ballot?
I would hope so, that they would be friendly towards that. It would be to their advantage.
Yeah,
But to Fred's point, in Article 23, the voting is to say that, so Article 22, there's two steps, and I know that's confusing. The first step is simply asking town meeting if you will go to a townwide vote and place the question on a ballot. Article 23 is to then amend the general bylaw, because the general bylaw states that the town clerk is an elected position. This is to amend that in the language, changing that to a position that's appointed by the select board. The vote or the text here says the amendment shall take effect upon acceptance by the voters of the following question, which shall be placed on the official ballot at the annual town election, April 2027. That with that question. The reason being that it's saying that the general bylaw cannot be amended until the town vote happens. And it's subject to the town vote. Yeah, I mean, it's with town council, not that I've gotten any feedback yet, but. There's a few of us right now.
Yeah.
But I think rolling it into, the same time as the tech would be great. I mean, we can
yeah.
contribute to Whately's election.
I think the reason why we likely can't do this vote until the annual town election
It may
is
say
because,
the law to change it, that it can only be done.
well, I think it's that, but there's also the fact that we need the AG to review the bylaw revision before the town vote happens. Because the AG is gonna get the bylaw, any bylaw revisions and report back to us hopefully in November. So that then you can have it in your ballot. Though why it can't be a special like in January, I'm not sure.
I don't know, I have to read the wording in the law on how to go about changing it. It may actually say that it has to be done at annual.
I pulled this from examples from other communities and they all referenced full town meeting. But I don't know if that was just because it was standard operating procedure or if it's the legal
Yeah, we'll
requirement.
have to look that up.
But so to your question, that there are articles in here to shift it from elected to an appointed position. Finance committee does not vote on these about whether you recommend them or not, but just for informational purposes.
Okay, so supposing she leaves. That then because she's gonna run for another position. Is she allowed to do that, or being a town clerk and running for another position, does she have to leave? Or if she does leave, does this mean you can appoint someone else in the interim?
So if she resigns, yes, you absolutely appoint somebody in the interim
Right.
until the next election.
Right.
She cannot hold both offices though.
Right, but she can't run at the same time as she's a town
So she
clerk.
can-
She can run.
She can run.
But she can't hold both offices.
Right, and she has limitations on what she can do on the election that she's on the
Right.
ballot,
Yeah.
so.
But no, you absolutely can run while you're sitting for their bullet.
Is it somewhere in our rules, what can you like, if you were a moderator, can you get anything else? Is there a description that says that there's nowhere in there?
Not in the general bylaws.
Elected positions is pretty much you can run
But I want appointed positions.
appointed. There's some in the bylaws that say you can't be on any other position in
It's
town.
like there's nothing in there.
And there's some other positions that you can't, like if you were an auditor. Some people have elected auditors or whatever, you can't also be the treasurer collector, the accountant.
Like you
I mean,
can't,
and it says
like,
specifically in
you
the,
can't be the moderator and a select board member, right?
I don't know that.
I don't think there's a
that
restriction on.
How about at a finance committee?
Moderator and vice.
Finance committee is
Appoint
appointed.
themselves.
So,
So you couldn't appoint yourself? could you?
Yeah,
That's why I didn't know, it's just,
Yeah.
is there a list of rules somewhere for something?
I mean, if anything, we would go to the ethics commission to ask if there's a conflict there.
Are any of these covered by state law rather than,
That's what
yeah,
I think
Liz
some of
referencing,
them.
is that there are certain ones.
But there's not many, especially elected positions, because that's kind of come down over, I'm still part of the town clerk.
yeah.
Are there any
Yeah.
appointed positions where you can be an employee of the town and be appointed?
An employee
Of
and
the town.
appointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the personnel committee, there's a employee representative that's appointed to that committee. And there's plenty of other staff on other that are appointed. Caroline's appointed on a
Okay.
number of committees.
And Garrett's on the building committee.
Yeah.
I mean, you're, technically you're based the select board, right?
Right.
That's your employee of the town.
But back to the warrant, I will say JD does a great job of. moving us. Actually, the last one is the last finance committee article, so Article 26 is to accept Chapter 59, Section 5K, which is the senior property tax program. Essentially, town meeting has to say that it agrees to a senior tax work-off program. The senior tax work-off program essentially is a way for those that are 60 or over 60 to volunteer and work for the town for a certain amount of hours in order to reduce their tax bill up to a certain amount. And this proposes the maximum reduction of $1,200 in a given tax year.
Is there an income cap?
Yes, well, they do, it is income based. There's also only a limit of a certain number of entities, people that are allowed to do it. Because the assessors fund, or they set a line item where they anticipate a reduction. So based on that reduction, they say, okay, we're only gonna accept 5 residents into the program.
Should we clarify that as part of the article? Those 2 points.
No, the article language can't be changed.
Right.
Let's see, they could be in the note, there could be
In the note
additional
above.
language in the note.
Yep. I think that would be helpful for people to understand.
But that's the Article 26.
And they are only, you gotta determine which departments
Yes.
are gonna have a position available.
Yeah,
So,
Positions available for volunteers. No,
no, I mean, for the most part, a lot of these positions. In my previous experiences, you find clerical things that don't require somebody to necessarily engage the public, so that they don't have to know all their ongoing things. You also have to ensure that they're not dealing with personally identified information, like protected information. But you find
most of it's,
clerical things.
yeah, it's stuffing tax bills
Yes.
or, stuffing census forms or something, filing census form. Well, that might be too, or something.
do you have people doing that now, or is this?
We don't have a program.
Right, so this,
This is to establish the program. It will require management. The Board of Assessors then will have to develop an application process. The procedure then to select people on a yearly basis. Then similar to our normal, there has to be timesheets that are done by the people working within that program to verify their hours, supervisory rules. There's a lot of internal process that goes into this that makes it can be burdensome.
They're an employee of the town.
Yeah.
At that point, so they have follows employee.
but this, how many hours do they have to work to get the?
Well, they'd be paid at a 15-hour.
Oh,
$15 per
they're
hour.
actually, but they wouldn't actually.
It's
get-
offset.
It's
It's offset,
offset.
correct, but it's at $15 an hour and working
Right.
to that $1,200 limit.
Right.
How did this originate? What was the?
Well, it looks
Oh, from the senior center, they were working with doing outreach to the other communities. Any community in Massachusetts can do it if they accept that chapter or that section. But it was just trying to find ways to help reduce the tax burden of seniors.
So there's
No, it sounds great.
1099 or W2 generated, or workers' comp, or.
Yeah, it's one of, yeah.
I think
And okay,
But not for concern of the finance committee, it's relates to this article.
well, we do have a workers' comp cost of this. There were,
I think it's still just
It-
your liability.
It's a general liability, yeah.
The 1099, they'd be a contractor.
They're gonna be at a clerical,
workers' comp is still there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Workers' comp is not liability, it's a shadow.
So
But if their rate of, sorry, their, what's it called? The classification
It's minimal.
is a minimal because they aren't in the way of harm, they're
They're
outside, yeah.
They're a group.
They're not lifting
Yeah.
weights or anything, yeah.
So it's less than 2 hours a week of commitment on their part.
Unless we assign them to the highway department.
Well, we wouldn't, because
Not
of that.
unless we-
Yeah. Unless, Garrett needs clerical assistance, yes.
So they
Well,
couldn't
you can
stand,
take 5 and then get 10 hours.
oh, they could stand at the side of the road and hold the signs, knowing they were.
They can work
Instead of
all the
police
hours
do.
way up front. I believe they can't work more than 20 hours in a
Right.
week. They have to work under that, but they could put in all the hours right away if we had
Something.
the need.
something.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, could people do things like pick up trash along roads?
No, because that, to JD's point, that puts them in harm's way, which increases their
Oh,
workers'
okay.
comp classification, so we have to keep it to clerical work.
Plus, I
Okay,
think it
or
has
could
cost.
they be helping clean up trash at Hurley Park?
Again, they can't be, no, it has to be clerical, it has to be indoors, protected, where they're not outdoors. They're not in
Okay.
harm's way, yeah,
They can
Except
still
for-
volunteer to do those things, though. They could
they can
volunteer. to help.
volunteer, yes, yes.
Okay.
But they, yeah, and it's supposed to be kind of an offset of some task that's being done by an employee already. More or less,
More or less, yeah,
yeah, so. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's our warrant, that's not too bad.
which, we could always position it into the admin assistance of some of the boards. For minute taking,
Like if
Yeah.
someone had the skills to take minutes
Yeah.
at the planning board,
yes,
for
because that
example.
would be a clerical role, yep,
To help Carolyn with research.
yep.
Oh,
That would be good.
Great.
Okay,
That's all the articles,
shall we move along?
yes,
We vote on those the next meeting.
at the next meeting, yep.
And then, under finance committee items, we need a new representative to the personnel.
I got you.
Jerry has resigned as our representative to the personnel committee, so we would need another member of our great group here to. Now JD's already on capital. and-
Yeah, JD's.
Yeah. The contract that the Jerry willing to.
Yeah.
No,
but
I don't have the bandwidth. I have a new advisory role. It's gonna take up a lot of time, so.
Yeah.
But I think we made a lot of good progress
Yeah.
in the last 2 years. in
Yeah,
terms of-
yeah. The one thing I would say for the personnel committee is it's I say not onerous at all. I'm the select board's person on the personnel committee. The meetings are all by Zoom. They're very they're very well structured. We don't spend a lot of time farting around, as my dad would say. We get to the work and we get it done. I think last year was an unusual year in the intensity of the work we had to do. This year has been much more typical, where we're meeting once a month for somewhere between 30 to 60 minutes, and we it's really not difficult to do by Zoom. It's not something where you're gonna have to go somewhere. I think any of you would be lovely at this. I know JD has got other things to do, so I can't have JD, can't have my good buddy there, Jerry. But really, it's not an onerous obligation to take on. So if you're thinking about it, and then everyone else is lovely on the committee, by the way. We've got Susan Barron, and we've got
Brenda.
Brenda. I was just blanking on Brenda's first name. Brenda, And she's got lots of good financial and legal experience that she helps us out with. And of course, Pete does all the work. So there you go.
I'm not on the committee, but
He's not on the committee, but he's at every meeting and he does all the work.
he's
Jim,
Oh, Jim Sabine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jim Savini is the employee on there as well.
But would you do it?
If no one else wants to do it, I'll do it. That's not a problem if the chair of finance doing the kind.
I think you're most qualified, that's all.
Yeah.
You're a political member, you're most qualified.
Because she's done every other.
That, no.
I tried.
I would, if no one else wants it, I would do it. No one else, wants it, then no,
Congratulations.
thank you, I guess.
I make
I
a
guess-
motion that we appoint the
We
simply
are.
as the finance committee representative to the personnel committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Good work.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Jerry, you've done a fine job.
yes.
All right, welcome, Lynn.
Done a very
It's going to
good
be
job.
pretty close to the all-women personnel committee pretty soon.
Pick that.
I'll tell Jim that.
Yeah.
Just keep those colas low.
Okay, the next item is reserve fund transfer. Emergency repairs to this roof.
So we do have, there are funds that were appropriated at a previous town meeting to do repairs to the town office roof. There's a remaining balance of 2,900 in that account. Did we have an estimate for 7,400? That's an estimate. And so I'm requesting 5,000 from reserve fund. We need to shore up these issues. There's a leak here, and there's another one in the treasurer's collector's office. The hope is that this money should alleviate and correct it. When they get up there and they start to dig in there, they find that there's a higher cost, I'll come back, but at present, I believe adding 5,000 into that fund should cover us.
Pete, how are we funding taking the solar panels off and putting them back on?
That would be part of our town operation, our
Okay.
town building budget.
That's excluded in the rest. of
Correct,
ours. Okay,
because they're not, Titan's not allowed to touch those recs, yeah,
correct.
so they can estimate on the cost.
Yeah, we're taking panels down.
Only temporarily, just so that we can do the repair, correct? No, we're getting rid of the panels, we decided. We don't want
Okay, is there one you want us to?
I have the copy that you'll sign,
So, yes,
yes.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve $5,000. Transfer from the reserve fund, pay for the repairs.
Second?
any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
And I'll just pass that around, you can sign on one of the lines.
Okay, so
Did you get your
that
ceiling tile?
is, that is all that we have to do, so we can adjourn? Or do you,
Oh. It's up to you if you'd like to adjourn or if you wanna hear the select board finish out their couple items.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Do we have any paperwork on the license application?
No, other than the license itself, it is the Simmers,
Okay.
It's just
Renewal.
like.
the common vic, yeah.
Yeah.
Standard renewal, thankfully,
We
the
won't
day
keep-
after our last meeting, they came in to renew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for next
Yeah.
year, they're more prepared.
Yeah.
What to expect, so.
I mean, we won't keep you long. These are going to be two really quick items and then,
and well, we'll stick around.
Yeah, hang on.
Okay.
Hang on this.
all right. So, for the select board, we want to review, discuss and vote on the common victuals license application, which I believe is complete and paid, and they've paid all their taxes and they've got all their permits.
Have everything from them, so.
Everything is in order.
I move
Okay.
that we approve that license.
Second,
Okay, moved and seconded, then let's take it to a vote. Julie,
Yes,
Fred,
yes,
Joyce, yes. Okay, very good. Next, to review, discuss, and vote on a service proposal for emergency roof repairs at town offices, which apparently we now have enough money to do. So I would hear a motion on that.
I move that we transfer $5,000 from the reserve fund for the purpose of emergency roof repairs at town office.
Is that what we're voting on, or are we just?
Yes.
approving Bridget?
You're approving the estimate
Okay,
because it's over 5,000.
I second the approval of the estimate.
All those in, well, I guess just put it to a
Yeah.
vote. Julie first,
Yes,
Fred,
Yeah,
Joyce? Yes. All right. Any items not anticipated?
move to adjourn the select board.
second,
All those in favor? Sorry, Julie,
yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Joyce? Yes.
Entertain a motion to adjourn the finance.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.